I'm Jen, and thank you so much for checking out Your Best Work Life. Here it is my mission to help you find fulfillment in your career by teaching you how to get clear on your goals and communicate your value so that you can achieve them. If you're watching this on my website, liveyourbestworklife.com, thank you so much for stopping by. Please be sure to subscribe to my email newsletter. That way you're kept in the know on all my latest content and all my behind the scenes tips, tricks, and best advice. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for checking it out. And please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you are made aware every time I release a new video. Today, I want to talk about 5 critical interview tips. These are 5 things that I recommend you do for every single interview you are preparing for or every interview that you go into. When it comes to the interview process, that is the time to put your best foot forward. It is expected that you will be doing your best to make a great first impression and really demonstrate the best of your experience, accomplishments, and overall education, background, and everything that you bring to the table for the job that you are applying for. My first tip is to read the job description. This may seem very straightforward and very obvious, but I don't think people always take the time to really read through every detail of the job description before they go into an interview. By doing this, you can really help to paint a better picture of exactly what that role might look like, what questions you still have, what skills will be required, and what your day-to-day might look like. So I highly recommend you read thoroughly through the job description to identify not only where you might be a great fit, but some of those areas where you might fall a little bit short so that you're prepared to speak to those or at least ask some valuable questions. My second tip is to review the company website. Again, this is a great way to get some insight to the company, what they're all about, their company culture, if they have certain values or a mission that they stand behind. It can really give you a good idea of what it might be like to work for a certain organization. A lot of times you can see what other positions they're hiring for, any latest news, press releases, new products that they might have available. So really take the time to read through that company website, again, so you're prepared to speak to how your experience relates to that organization, but also so you can ask any questions and figure out how you would fit in to that bigger organization and that bigger piece of the puzzle. My third tip is to know your relevant skills. I've alluded to this in my first 2 tips, but it's important as you read through that job description to really start to get clear on where that best matches and aligns to your previous experience and of course what you've accomplished and really where you've added the most value. So be prepared to speak to your relevant experience as it relates to that specific job, company, or industry. You don't need to necessarily check every single box or have 10 out of 10 skills, but it is important to be prepared to speak to where you do have relevant experience to give the interviewers or decision makers confidence that you would be capable to step into that role and hit the ground running. My fourth tip is to highlight your accomplishments. This is something that is so critical in every single interview because, again, that is your best opportunity to shine and to communicate where you've really excelled in your previous experience, in previous positions, etc., whatever that might be. So before you go into an interview, be sure that you are crystal clear on your greatest accomplishments, what you're most proud of, and where you've added the most value. If you can quantify any of your previous results or try to quantify any of your day-to-day responsibilities and how those added value to a company at the end of the day, I highly recommend it. Anytime you can use facts, figures, numbers, percentages, anything along those lines, it will really help you to stand out and really provide that proof or that evidence that you are capable of what you say you are capable of. It's very easy to say that you've done certain things or that you have certain experience, but it's very different when you can back that up with facts, figures, and actual examples of specifically and quantifiably how you have added value and helped previous organizations in the past. Last but not least, my 5th tip is to ask thoughtful questions. So before you go into any interview, and even if you have multiple interviews with the same organization, which is usually the case, make sure you have a list of questions before every interview prepared so that when the time comes, you have questions to ask. This is important for a few reasons. First and foremost, an interview is a two-way street, and that is your opportunity to ask any lingering questions, anything you're not clear on, anything that you need answered to help you make the best and most informed choice for your career moving forward. So make sure you're asking those questions and that you're not nervous to get anything clarified that you need, again, to make the right decision if they were to offer you a position. Secondly, asking questions is a phenomenal way to show that you are engaged, that you are interested, and that you have prepared for that interview. So when you don't ask questions, whether you realize it or not, it can often give the perception that you're really not that interested or that you haven't seriously considered what it would look like to see yourself in that position. So even if you've had all the questions answered that you thought of initially, find something to ask. And a great one to keep in your back pocket in case you're sitting there thinking, I've really asked every question that I can possibly think of. Ask something personal to the person who's interviewing you. Ask them what keeps them with the organization or what their favorite thing about working for that company is. Just something to show that you're curious and that you really are considering seeing yourself in that position or working for that company. So let's quickly recap on my 5 critical interview tips. Number 1, read the job description. Make sure you know what the job that you're interviewing for is all about. Number 2, review the company website. Get a feel for who they are, what they're about, and use that information to prepare for your interview accordingly. Number 3, know your relevant skills. Be prepared to speak to your specific experience and how it relates to this specific job. Number 4, highlight your accomplishments. Be sure to use that interview to highlight the greatest and the best of your previous experience, and again, where you have added the most value. Number 5, again, last but not least, ask thoughtful questions. Show that you're serious, show that you're interested, and show that you've given it some thought, and ask questions to, again, make the best right decision for your career at the end of the day. Thank you so much for tuning in today and listening to these 5 interview tips. I hope these help you as you prepare for your next career move. And again, please be sure to like, subscribe, share this video with anyone else that might find it beneficial, that's thinking about making a job change this year. And I hope I will see you next time on Your Best Work Life. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.